Now let's have a very brief idea about angiosperms and end our plant kingdom. Now what are angiosperms? They are phanerogams. Yes, they are. They are the second type of phanerogams. First one were gymnosperms. Now the next one is angiosperms. They are flower bearing plants. They are the flowering plants. Whenever we say angiosperms, we can use it in exchange of the term flowering plants. They have well developed bright flowers which are present on them. Now what is a flower basically? We had been talking about microsporophylls, we have been talking about megasporophylls. Some authors consider that the flower, parts of the flower known as stamen, not stamen, sorry, these carpels and stamens are nothing but micro and megasporophylls. Now what are carpels and stamens? This is the ovary, this is the pollen grain bearing filament, and this is the male, this is the female part, and this is the male part. So when we talk about angiosperms, we have microsporophyll and megasporophyll converted into carpels and stamens according to some writers. You need not to confine yourself into this type of understanding, because it is a little bit doubtful, and it is considered that those sporophylls, those spore bearing parts have changed into this. Now first thing, before we get into the reproductive aspects, we need to understand that these plants are very diverse. They have adapted to every kind of atmosphere, you can say every kind of habitat they have inhabited it. How they have inhabited it? Because they have well developed system. Talk about their root system, they are well adapted and well developed. Talk about their shoot system, that is also well adapted to certain terrestrial and aquatic conditions. Their vascular system is advanced. As we talked in the case of gymnosperms, we said that the companion cell were missing in phloem, and in xylem the vessels were missing. Again, you might be confused what these terms are. In depth, you might not be knowing about it. There is highly advanced vascular tissue. Just remember it for sake of remembering only, that in case of xylem, where we had no vessels, in case of gymnosperms, we are going to have vessels for better conduction of water in a way that the plant can survive every type of habitat. And in the case of phloem, the companion cells which were absent, it is going to have companion cells as well, apart from the other cells which are present to make up a vascular tissue. So this is one condition in the case of angiosperms. Now these angiosperms, they are divided into further classification. One is dicotyledony and other is monocotyledony. Now what is the difference between dicot and monocot? You have to remember one thing, that these monocots lie as the most advanced plants in the plant kingdom classification. They are most advanced, most diverse, and they have, in the evolutionary course as well, if we study the phylogenetic classification, monocots are the most recent ones. When we say that they are most recent ones, that means we are referring to those plants which are most advanced. And when I say monocots, I am referring to the grasses which are present. Now if I take a mango tree and a wheat plant is more advanced as compared to the mango tree, because mango tree is a dicot. So in case of dicots, we see the huge trees which have this, since childhood you have been drawing this tree structure, a huge trunk is present, then there is a canopy. These trees, they are dicots, and the monocots are the grasses which are present, like in the case of wheat, in the case of rice plant, they are the grasses, or we can say bamboo. So the flowering plants, they are divided into two classification, dicots and monocots. They are well adapted to diverse habitats. Yes, we know that. There is a well developed vascular tissue. Now there are two characteristic features which are present in these. One is pollination. They are flowering plants. They have good looking flowers, very colorful and bright flowers, which have the appendages known as calyx and corolla, those petals and sepals. They attract the insects, or they would be present in such a way so that they use the agency of some external agency would be used for taking the male gamete to the female gamete, okay, because both the gametes, in the case of angiosperms, they are non-motile. The pollen grain would be taken to the ovary. Now this ovary is having a stigma on which this pollen grain comes. It comes and fertilizes and gives rise to seeds. Now, as I told you, what is a seed basically in the case of gymnosperms as well? Seed is the zygote as well as the endosperm. The zygote takes its nutrition from the endosperm, and we often eat those seeds. As you must have seen in the cases of pulses that you eat, they are seeds. They are seeds of the angiosperms, which are highly nutritious. We consume their endosperm and they have a zygote inside them, and that zygote gives rise to the new plant. You might have seen in the case of sprouts, when you dip them in water, you see a new plant, a new seedling has been emerged, and that is as a result of zygote getting germinated. Then this is the result of pollination which has taken place by some agency. It could be wind, it could be water, it could be insects, animals, it could be anything which brings about fertilization. That means the male gamete is taken from the male flower and it is passed to the female gamete in order to bring about fertilization. When the fertilization takes place, seeds are formed, and where these seeds are formed, because the plants are bearing flowers, unlike gymnosperms where the seeds were naked, openly present in the sporophyll, we have a ovary which gives rise to the fruit. That means the mango that you consume, the lychee or any other fruit that you are consuming, that is the ovary of the flower which develops once the seeds are being formed. You would always find a seed inside a fruit, and that seed bears the zygote and the endosperm, and that the juicy part or that edible part is the ovary which stores the food material inside it. And this is all about angiosperms. Another characteristic feature that you have to remember before we end about the plant kingdom is the double fertilization. Double fertilization is characteristic of angiosperms again, where we have formation of zygote as one fertilization and formation of endosperm as one fertilization. Over here you have to remember that two male gametes are formed as a result of meiosis. One of the male gametes formed the zygote while other male gamete forms the endosperm. This proper fertilization is known as syngamy. Please remember the terms, don't get into the depth. And the endosperm is formed as a result of triple fusion. So we get introduced to three new terms which are characteristic of angiosperms. One is double fertilization. Double fertilization how? One is syngamy where the zygote is formed, and other is triple fusion where the endosperm is formed. Now you might ask that endosperm and zygote were present in gymnosperms as well, but we didn't use these terms because in the gymnosperms the endosperm is not formed as a result of triple fusion. So this is all about angiosperms, and with this we come to the end of